anyways, man, welcome back to my channel. It's your boy, and I'm saying we back with another vid.
Flight crew, FTC, flight team stand up.
Make sure y'all boys stand up.
Prime reacts back at it again. Boom. No, I got you. You don't gotta act too cool, man. Slash, try not to get scared. Chillin' scares. YouTubers that became murderers.
Fixed.
Check it out.
Suzanne Eaton was a 59-year-old American scientist who was working as a professor of molecular biology in Dresden, Germany. A big part of her job at this institute was to travel around the world and hold conferences on the latest developments in her field. In July of 2019, she traveled to the scenic Greek island of Crete for one of these conferences, not knowing that this was going to be her last, and that the person responsible for her end would be caught because of his videos on YouTube. The incident happened on July 2nd, when, after a conference, Suzanne spent time with her peers and played the public piano in the venue's lobby before saying her goodbyes and heading out to her hotel in the afternoon. Sadly, this was the last time anyone saw Suzanne alive. Her coworkers noticed her absence when she didn't show up for the second conference scheduled for 6 p.m. that evening. It wasn't like her to skip events out of the blue. Something wasn't right. A fact that became increasingly clear when over 24 hours passed without anyone hearing from her. So, on July 3rd, her colleagues called the police to check on her, hoping she was simply sick or something similar. However, when officers arrived at her hotel room, no one answered the door. They acquired a spare key from the hotel management and went inside, only to find the room completely empty and undisturbed. All of Suzanne's belongings were also still in the room. The only things missing were her running shoes and a set of exercise clothes. Those who knew her immediately understood what this meant. You see, in addition to her academic prowess and piano expertise, Suzanne was also an athlete at heart. She was a double black belt in Taekwondo, and despite her age, loved going on a run every day. Knowing this helped investigators narrow down what might have happened to her. Put simply, she likely went on a run soon after returning to her hotel on July 2nd, and something went wrong after that. She wasn't super familiar with the area, and to make matters worse, the weather was uncomfortably hot that afternoon. There was a strong possibility she collapsed from the heat or something else along those lines. After putting this together, the Crete police immediately dispatched a search and rescue team in the area surrounding her hotel and around popular running trails. Her family even traveled to Crete and put a €50,000 reward for anyone who could help find Suzanne. Unfortunately, Suzanne was nowhere to be found. That is until 5 days later, on July 8th, when two young men were exploring one of the abandoned World War II Nazi bunkers scattered across Crete. Around 200 meters in, one of them noticed a piece of burlap covering something on the ground. They picked it up from one end to see what was underneath. And what they found was the aftermath of one of the most horrific crimes in Crete's recent history. The burlap was covering the bloody remains of Suzanne Eaton. A later autopsy report discovered that Suzanne had several broken ribs, multiple fractures throughout her body, a missing ear, and much more. Whatever happened to her certainly was not an accident.
Yo, bro.
A missing ear, my nigga?
Yo, we gotta bring back public torture, bro. Like, come on, man.
We gotta bring back, like, public death, bro.
Who did this, man?
The investigators began searching for clues, and fortunately it didn't take long for them to make their first major breakthrough. A set of car tire tracks leading up to the entrance of the bunker. Analyzing these tracks allowed investigators to find the car responsible for transporting Suzanne's remains to that bunker. It belonged to 27-year-old Yanis Paraskakis, a local
Ain't no way, bro. Why are you doing this, bro?
Come on, man.
Why the stop
sheep farmer. But when questioned,
Wait,
Yanis responsible for transporting Suzanne's remains to that bunker. It belonged to 27-year-old Yanis Paraskakis.
This nigga's eyes is just
27, bro. See, this is the problem, bro. It'd be niggas that look like this. You know what I'm saying? Why niggas be just trying to be calling people aunts and all that stuff like that, bro. Bro, I'm big bro. 35 and under is big bro.
Nigga, you unk, bro. Shut up.
And then it's on. But no, like, literally, all jokes aside, like, bro, come on. Like, this dude literally looks like he's 56. Like, just a straight absolute weirdo, bro.
Nah, there's
Bring
nothing
back
wrong with being
public torture, dog. Prayers to her and her family, dog. This is just...
a local sheep farmer. But when questioned, Yanis feigned ignorance and claimed that him driving through that area on that day was nothing more than a coincidence. He went as far as to say that he didn't even know about the existence of that bunker, a lie that would eventually lead to his arrest. You see, Yanis had a dream to become a successful YouTuber. He started a channel with his own name in 2012 and began posting videos. However, if you go to his channel today, all you'll find are 3 videos of him performing an ancient Chinese martial art and meditation technique called Qigong. That's because a couple days before Suzanne's body was discovered, Giannis deleted every other video on his channel. And once authorities recovered some of these deleted videos, it became clear why.
You can recover
You see,
videos.
most of these deleted videos involved Giannis exploring abandoned World War II bunkers, including the one where Suzanne's remains were discovered. This contradiction gave the authorities the go-ahead to formally arrest him on July 15. It also allowed them to investigate him further, and the evidence they discovered was overwhelming. As it turned out, the land where this bunker was located was owned by Giannis's family. Investigators also found traces of Suzanne's blood in his car's trunk. When confronted with this evidence, Giannis cracked and told the whole story. According to him, he saw Suzanne running down the road and something came over him. He hit her with his car twice before putting her in his car, driving to the bunker, and ending her life there. He later changed his story to where he was compelled to commit this crime.
This is real life, by
Oh
the
my
way.
gosh, here we go, bro. I knew that's the thing I left out, dog. Like, man, yeah, I just knew he was gonna say some BS like this, bro. Y'all got to be safe out there on the road. This goes to my FTC sisters, man. Like, hey, get that exercise.
Y'all be careful, bro.
Gotta do, but
wherever you
please
go,
be cautious, man. Like, I'm pretty sure this is going back around like the 90s and the 80s and 70s and so on. But, bro, there's a lot more weirdos than what it was back then, dude. You know what I'm saying? They don't care if there's cameras. They don't care if there's, you know, happen to be people around. Y'all gotta be careful just going out jogging.
And y'all criminals, bro. Just stop doing your bad deeds, bro. The technology is only getting even better, bro. You're gonna get caught. 100%.
Like that, man. Like, I understand, like, you trying to get the extra. If you decide to go jogging, like, you gotta go with like 3 or 4 friends. Like, I never understood. And it's just like all the biggest props too. So I'm not trying to just like, you know, it's not even bashing necessarily like ones that like to really like jog and get that type of exercise, cardio and stuff like that. But man, there's got to be an alternate if you don't have friends around that can jog with you, because it's just like even him showing like this is like the area where this weirdo, you know what I'm saying, kidnapped this lady and did what he did and stuff like that. Like, you know,
this beautiful ass place.
You gotta look at it like this, man. It just leaves the opposite as much as it shouldn't happen. This is just too secluded and out in the blue and open to just like have weirdos be super desperate and just have that option. You don't want to give them the opportunity, bro. Now, for granted, it can be just in an absolute city like public space and stuff like that, and they'll still have the boldness and still do what they gotta do. But just, you know, and surrounded like this, and you're jogging, bro, you have to have friends with you, and even still, you guys can still be in danger. But
or have some protection with you.
It's just unfortunate.
Putting her in his crate towards one bit.
I feel like if she was like, and it's not the blaming whatsoever, you know what I'm saying? This dude is aware that stuff like this shouldn't even happen regardless. Like, if she had like friends with her or something like that, I don't think he would even
try
be a topic,
without the possibility of parole in
Nigga said something came over him, bro.
Compelled to commit this crime by a demon. Unfortunately for him, the jury didn't buy this one bit and sentenced him to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
It might be true though.
Now, this should have been the end of Giannis' story, but from what I've seen, there's more to his actions than just this one crime he was convicted of. The thing is, Giannis presented his vile act as a crime of opportunity, something he did completely out of nowhere. However, there's evidence to suggest that Giannis might be a full-blown serial killer. For instance, he was apparently detained by the police twice before, once for arson and once for animal cruelty. Both
this guy gotta get up out of there, man. He gotta get up out of there.
Leave animals alone, bro, please.
And to be honest, he probably is. It's just his first time getting caught, man. Like, you already know what they say about people like that.
That ass, though.
And then also, what the fuck do you mean crime of? What do you mean opportunity? So you mean to tell me you just freestyle, just wanted to just like kidnap and assault this lady that was jogging on the road? That's even a damn option? What do you mean opportunity, bro? I just feel like sometimes they be just trying to lessen certain things. Like, no, like...
Which are well-known early behaviors of serial killers. After his arrest, several other women also came forward, testifying that he had tried to run them over with his car as well in the past.
What the hell?
Suzanne was more than likely not his first victim.
Weird
However, the most solid evidence against Giannis is in one of the deleted videos he uploaded to YouTube. In it, we can see him showing some very human-looking bones scattered throughout the same bunker
Bro.
Suzanne was discovered in.
This
These
guy's a
bones were
threat.
never discovered by
What
the
is going
authorities,
on?
suggesting they might have been removed by Giannis to hide evidence. But what makes this truly disturbing is what his friend says at one point in the same video. This roughly translates into, "Is this where you left that old guy?" Insinuating that Giannis had disposed of one of his previous victims in the same bunker before.
Bro,
and
what?
if that is the case, one can only wonder how many other people Giannis has killed over the years.
Please be careful what you be posting on YouTube, please.
Yo, bro.
Simply
And
Manic
also just don't do all this.
6075 was a YouTube channel owned and operated by 24-year-old Samantha Wolford. She lived in the small community of Monticello, Texas with her husband Ernest Lee Ibarra, aka Ernie, and their 5 children. She usually made videos about her day-to-day life and other random topics.
This in
Her
like
story began in
2008.
2008 when she was at the lowest point of her life. She'd
Oh,
recently become
yeah.
the single mother of a pair of twins and had no love interest in her life. That's when she met Ernie at a local tattoo shop, and the two hit it off right from the get-go, eventually getting in a relationship and starting a family together. In one of her videos, Samantha described the day she met Ernie as the happiest day of her life. Together, they were blessed with 3 more children, including 1 more pair of twins. Raising 5 kids
Wow,
was a
she is
challenge,
blessed.
but Ernie made it
2
work by
twins.
taking a second job in pizza delivery. So, while they had endured tough times together, Samantha, Ernie, and their 5 children appeared
Would you think that this type of people will kill somebody? Like, you have 2 twins. What more do you want? And a loving person. Like, and, well, do you not have money? If that's the problem, then, okay. Well, it's a bad thing, but maybe that's the problem.
to be the perfect loving family.
We can work on that, you feel me?
However, while being a stay-at-home mother was
But
all she could
just
do
don't
at the
kill
time,
nobody,
Samantha
please.
still had a dream of becoming a famous actress one day.
I've always wanted to be an actress. I think it is so much fun. I've been extras in movies. I've had small parts in like short films. It is so much fun and it is so beautiful. It is one of the most amazing forms of art ever to be able to express yourself that way. I think it's amazing.
So, in October 2010, she created her YouTube channel and started posting videos, hoping to become a popular YouTuber and fulfill her dream on the internet instead. And things were going surprisingly okay in the beginning.
Definitely.
Samantha would post new videos whenever she had something new to say. And while most of her videos struggled to get past 100 views at the time, the few viewers she had were enough to keep her going. But as time passed on, her
Y'all
passion
niggas
for
finna
making
keep me
videos
going, bro.
turned into an obsession. She started spending more of her time on making videos than her family, putting even more pressure on an already stressed out Ernie. Around 2014, she also started accusing Ernie of hurting her in her videos, hinting at just how bad their relationship was going.
What?
But then, after posting a seemingly random video in March of 2014, Samantha mysteriously vanished from the internet. Maybe she lost interest in YouTube or just wanted to focus on her family again. No one knew exactly why she quit so abruptly. Then, on the 20th of February 2015, viewers finally received the update they were waiting for. Unfortunately, it was far more tragic than anyone could have imagined. It started with the Texas police receiving a call from one of Samantha's aunts asking them to save her niece's life.
Cause County 911, what's your emergency? I have a home invasion. My niece is tied up. I
Tied
am
up?
at the verge of untying my niece at this particular moment. Okay, she's tied up. She is tied up and gagged. And gagged?
What?
Yes, ma'am. Is there anybody else there? Or where are the kids?
Nigga, what do people be
And
doing
she
in
has
their free
5 small
time?
infants asleep.
Apparently, 3 masked men broke into their home in the middle of the night and attacked the couple while they were asleep. The intruders then tied Samantha in her bedroom, and after hitting him with a gun a few times, kidnapped Ernie. Samantha somehow managed
just
to
take
get
all the
ties
money
loose
you
enough to
want.
call her aunt, who then contacted the police after arriving at Samantha's home herself. By the time officers
Yo, bro,
arrived,
what's good?
Samantha's aunt had set her free from the restraints. The kids were fortunately safe as well. However, what made this whole situation strange was that the intruders didn't take anything else from their home besides Ernie. And from the people who knew him personally, Ernie wasn't the type of guy to make enemies with dangerous people. Put simply, investigators sensed something fishy with the whole situation. But all that paled in comparison to the main objective, which was to save Ernie as soon as possible. Unfortunately, Samantha didn't know anything that could give investigators their first clue. With no other option, the officers took Samantha to the station for further questioning, hoping to extract any useful information they could from her. But what none of them expected was that Samantha would change up her story completely after entering the interrogation room. Where before she didn't know anything about the assailants, now she had the name of a potential suspect, John Rebel. As Samantha's
Ole.
story goes, she was talking to her friend about Ernie's supposed attacks on Samantha, when suddenly a man with the pseudonym John Rebel overheard their conversation and started talking about how a man shouldn't treat a woman that way and that he was going to handle the situation. Well, as it turned out, the name John Rebel actually belonged to someone, a man named Jonathan Sanford. The police found and arrested John not long after Samantha gave out his name, right alongside his two accomplices, Jose Ponce and Octavius Rhymes. Surprisingly, Jonathan put up little to no resistance and immediately confessed to kidnapping Ernie. He also confirmed the worst possible outcome, that by the time the police got involved, Ernie was already dead. The three took him to a secluded forest and executed him with one shot to the back of his head.
Why?
However, even after learning all this, one question remained. Why? Why would three men who didn't even know Ernie kidnap him from his home like that? Every answer to this question pointed back to Samantha, who kept denying any involvement. Even if the investigators ignored her suddenly remembering the perpetrator's name, there were several other suspicious aspects to her story. Like, how was she able to untie herself enough to call her aunt? Why didn't any of her neighbors hear the break-in? And why were the kids all sleeping in the same room, when usually they're scattered throughout the house? It wasn't long before investigators uncovered undeniable evidence of her direct involvement. This included instruction messages she sent to Octavius when the officers were trying to call Ernie's phone, which he had on him. These read, "Kill his phone, shut that down, ditch phone, move." There was no doubt about it.
They was moving like some Call of Duty
colluding with her husband's killers.
Special Ops or something.
And as the investigation went on, the real story came out as well. Samantha had apparently become addicted to the idea of becoming a famous YouTuber, and her neglect of the kids became a constant source of fighting between the couple. But instead of resolving the issue like a responsible adult, Samantha colluded with her friend's boyfriend to hatch a cartoonishly evil scheme to get rid of Ernie.
What?
They first wanted to plant hard drugs in his car and get him arrested, but later made the heartless decision that taking his life would be much easier. There's also a chance that Samantha went with the murder plan because it would have brought her more attention on YouTube. She was eventually sentenced to 149 years in prison for killing her own husband.
Bro, you can't trust some of these hoes, man.
You can't trust nobody, bro.
You breaking your back, and I'm gonna say a few things as well. I was waiting for them to like talk. I didn't want to just keep interrupting. Bro, imagine, Ernie, they literally said he got a second job to take care of 5 kids. First of all, they wasn't even financially responsible, bro. You know what I'm saying? To have that many kids. Okay? Now, there's nothing wrong with Samantha trying to pursue a career with being a YouTuber and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, the problem. But the thing is, you didn't have the proper balance, bro. You have 5 kids to take care of. You had to find a way to balance that. And then from what it looks like, you know what I'm saying? You just try to just take that back on your husband, whatever you want to call. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't, like, there's no way you really love them for real, bro.
You obsessed with yourself.
Said, now that I'm thinking about it, I think Samantha was also smashing a dude, one of those 3 dudes. Because there's no way, and even if there wasn't, like the fact that you guys crashed out for another female like this and threw away y'all lives, y'all are the absolute biggest Hall of Fame dumbasses on this earth. All 3 of y'all lost y'all freedom. One of y'all was at least smashing her. All right, so that's what made them have that type of, you know what I'm saying, get girl, whatever. One of them said the word blah, but we already know that.
They might be gay though.
But the other 2 that wasn't smashing, my dude, like, you are the dumbest ass on earth, bro. You threw away your freedom from one of your homeboys that was smashing another chick just off of her word, bro. Now, let's just even possibly say, let's just play the advocate here. Okay, let's just say like if Ernie was actually like whooping Samantha's butt, you feel me? Like behind the scenes, whooping her ass, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, like, I feel like you're not taking care of the kids, you know what I'm saying? Blah, blah, blah. You're spending more time trying to do this YouTube, blah, blah, blah. That's none of their business. Samantha was supposed to handle that a different type of way, not that way.
Never that way.
Like I said, there's no proof that Ernie was actually doing that. That's just what Samantha was saying. And then now, the fact of that she already was like caught up in multiple lies, you can't really believe what she's saying. So now, here's what I really think happened. I feel like Ernie, you know what I'm saying, was busy. He's working. He's focused on having a family and stuff like that. Samantha, she's barely seeing them, and she wants to also, like, you know, be an actress, be a YouTuber and stuff like that. She's being a stay-at-home mom. Let's be honest. Stay-at-home moms, You know, not all of them, because we ain't gonna be sitting up here doing that. Like a good majority of stay-at-home moms is actually loyal. You know what I'm saying? This is not like it's like being
This is not a YouTube video,
a
my nigga.
dancer or something like that, or a
Wrong
prostitute,
category,
nothing
bro.
that. Like, nah, majority I would want to say stay-at-home moms is actually loyal. But there is also some out there that are very grimy and very unloyal as well. And this is Samantha. I feel like Samantha just got bored of Ernie and just found another dude, one out of those 3 dudes. She's smashing them, you know what I'm saying, behind the scenes. And she's like, damn, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
or maybe, bro, this might be a thing. This might be a thing. My theory is that Ernie or her husband tried to take his daughters, tried to take his children. And then the mother was like, nah, you can't do it. So she got him killed. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? You be on the same page?
I kind of mess with your lifestyle a little bit more. Like, why am I even in this relationship? You know what? Let's backdoor this nigga. You know, bro, come on, bro. That has to be
Evil
the most
people,
logical reason yet. But she got what she deserved, bro. And the cold part about
146 years in jail.
all 5 of them kids are not gonna
That's
have
life.
parents.
Ain't nobody
biological
finna
parents.
live
They probably had to be
146
sent to a
years.
home and everything like that, man. Like, the kids are the ones that suffer through this at the end of the day, man. Like,
leaving her 5 children completely orphaned in the process.
5 children.
crazy, dog.
Diana Lovejoy was a successful technical writer living in the town of Carlsbad, California with her husband
she
Greg
looks
Mulvanel.
scary as fuck,
However,
bro.
while her corporate job paid the bills, Diana's true passion was becoming a triathlon athlete and documenting her journey on video, resulting in her eventually starting her own fitness blog
Never
called
mind.
Lovejoy Fitness and a YouTube channel by the name of Heavy DJ. She started this channel
Why
all the way
everybody
back in
got a YouTube
2008,
channel?
and over the years
They
used it to
tryna be
document
like me.
various parts of her life.
Me and
From
Friday in
meeting
this
her
beach.
parents after a long time to going scuba diving with her husband. At one point, she even tried to become a cooking show host of sorts.
Hey, but she grinding. I love that.
Unfortunately,
I
her
like that
channel
shit.
never really took off, forcing her to eventually cut her losses and move on with her life in March of 2012. Or
I'm
at
scared
least
that
that's
shit
what it
finna
looked like
happen,
from
bro.
the outside. In reality, Diana's reason for abandoning her YouTube channel was kind of wholesome. You see, Diana and Greg had been trying for a baby for years by this point. Tragically, Diana had suffered 8 different miscarriages and was quickly losing hope.
Oh my
But
Damn,
then
bro.
in September of 2012, the two were
Fine.
blessed with a perfectly healthy baby boy, marking an end to their struggle.
Yeah.
However, what should have been a moment of celebration started a downward spiral of lies and betrayals, eventually culminating in an assassination
You got what
attempt.
you fucking
Things started
wanted.
going downhill when just a few months after the
It's
birth of their
whenever
son,
it's whenever people get what they wanted that they want more. You see the first lady? No, the second lady, bro. She killed her husband, but before that, she was dying. She was fiending for love. She got love. She killed him. Everything you want might not be the thing you need.
and Greg lost his job, leaving Diana as the sole breadwinner. The stress of the previous miscarriages, combined with the crushing weight of having to support a family in an extremely expensive city all on her own, spelled disaster for their marriage.
Yeah, you can't
It
do
wasn't
that.
long before the two were constantly fighting with each other. Things escalated even further on July 9, 2014, when
Maybe God just knew that you didn't need any babies, so he gave you 8 carriages. Everything happened for a reason, my nigga.
Greg returned home only to see a police officer waiting for him at the door. The officer explained that Greg
Make sure
wasn't
y'all
allowed
post,
to
like, and
enter his own
subscribe,
home
please.
because, as it turned out, Diana had accused him of attacking both her and their son. What
Damn.
followed was a nearly 2-year-long divorce
like the
mediation,
default move.
during which the investigators found no evidence supporting Diana's accusations, allowing Greg to get a 50-50 custody of their son. Diana was also ordered to pay $120,000 as a part of their divorce settlement in late 2015. But before the divorce could be finalized, Greg received a phone call from an anonymous number that changed everything. The voice on the other end claimed to be a private investigator Diana had hired recently. And according to this investigator, he already had solid proof of the attack claims Diana had made against Greg. But for some unknown reason, he wanted to help Greg win the case, so he claimed to have left the documents taped to a power pole located on a small hiking trail near Greg's home. Greg
Don't be
naturally
believing
found
that
this whole
shit.
thing pretty suspicious and decided to take one of his friends with him to the pole on the night of September 4th, 2016.
At night?
Sadly, despite his suspicions, he failed to grasp the true intentions of this strangely helpful private detective.
Hello, this is 911.
Yeah. My friend has just been shot.
Do you know who shot him?
There's a guy going down like a sniper.
A sniper? Did you see him at all?
briefly, we saw the gun, and he shot at us like 6 or 7 times.
When Greg reached the pole, a sniper opened fire
Oh,
on
shit.
him, shooting him clean through the chest.
Bro,
Fortunately,
what?
the bullet missed his heart by mere inches, giving him a second chance at life.
Oh,
By the time
my
the police
days.
arrived, the shooter had already fled the crime scene. But a quick survey of the area allowed the investigators to uncover a pair of towels the shooter left behind. Running a DNA test on these towels led to a man named Weldon McDavid, Diana's shooting instructor. Weldon tried to deny any involvement at first, but the evidence against him was overwhelming. As after a thorough search, investigators were able to find another set of the same towels at Diana's place as well. They had also received CCTV footage of Diana buying the burner phone Weldon later used to lure Greg into the secluded area. Most
Bro, that's what I've
importantly,
been telling you,
investigators
bro.
also found the gun
Technology
Weldon
is
used
getting
on
even
Greg
better.
hidden in the
Always.
rafters of his garage. By this point,
Now they
it
got
was
the
clear
flock
that Diana
cameras.
was the one who wanted
Be
to give
careful,
her to
yeah,
Greg,
please.
likely to
Just-
avoid paying the divorce settlement and keep full custody of her son.
You should have kept
Diana and
going
Weldon were
with your
arrested for the
YouTube,
attempted
man.
assassination on Greg Mulvihill
And best believe they was definitely smashing.
and tried
Yeah,
for their
this nigga,
crimes in
yeah.
November 2017.
He is
Both were found guilty, with Diana sentenced to 26 years to life and Weldon to a harsher 50
Now don't
years.
act like that now. Don't act like that now. You know what you was doing, Diana.
Should have kept doing them cooking
The only
videos,
silver
man.
lining in this entire case is that Greg was able to make a full recovery and is now living with his son.
W
Wow.
Greg, W Greg.
Yo, his son is gonna hate his mom like guts, dog. And let me tell you guys this also as well, man.
In 20 years, bro.
Make sure y'all realize what y'all doing when y'all getting married. This goes for both FTC brothers and sisters.
Listen,
Like, make sure you trust the person, bro. Like, this, and I'm gonna just be transparent with y'all, especially if you know that you're the breadwinner in any given situation, and you decide to get married. Here's what you should literally do: literally make a separate account or something, or just like just take half of all your earnings that you ever made. All right, take half of all your earnings that you ever made, and just basically just be like, okay, here. Divorce money. That's basically what it is, bro. If you have a shady person that divorced you and gonna want to take everything, bro, they're gonna take everything, bro. Prenups work, but they can be loopholes to it too. All right, so like, bro, be careful, dog. Know what you're doing.
just put all your money.
You know what I'm saying?
Put all
Know
your
what you're
money in your mom's account. You
She
good?
literally crashed out because she was gonna have to give up some of that divorce settlement stuff, man. After also lying on his name, apparently.
The Gunnar Runar 87 channel on YouTube
thought he
seems
said
oddly
Gunnar, bro.
wholesome at first glance. It's owned by an Icelandic boy named Gunnar Runar Sigthorsson and contains a single 3.5-minute video of him confessing his feelings to the girl he loves. The title translates to English as My Confession to Hildur. In it, he says things like,
Hún án efa sérstakasta manneskja sem ég nokkuð tíma hitt. Ég verð svo ótrúlega glaður bara að vera nálægt henni. Það er ekki meira.
Is she your girlfriend?
Og þetta er ætlað þér því að ég held sig orðin ástfangin með þér.
However, this seemingly heartfelt love letter turned out to be the key to solving one of the most horrific crimes in recent Icelandic history. And it all led back to Gunnar and the troubled life he had as a child.
Did he kill?
You see, Gunnar didn't
No.
have a mother growing up, resulting in him
The
getting
fuck is
extremely
that?
close with his father. However, on the night of
fuck?
September 20th, 1996, when Gunnar
What
was
are
just
these
9
clips,
years old,
bro?
his father decided to end it all using a gun. What made this already messed up situation even worse was the fact that Gunnar was in the room with his father and witnessed everything.
What?
Unsurprisingly, this took a heavy toll on Gunnar's mental health. He withdrew from the world and refused to accept his father's death as reality. Everything seemed hopeless for Gunnar. That is until primary school, when he met a girl named Hildur and instantly became infatuated with her.
Oh, she's
He'd admired
bad.
her throughout school and into adulthood, but never found the courage to make a move, fearing he'd lose his only close friend. However, things changed in 2009.
Don't
when
flat
he got
let that
engaged
cash
to a
card.
man named Hannes.
I'm just
This
saying,
gave
though.
Gunnar the push to do something about his feelings. But given his shy personality, he still couldn't confront Hildur directly.
I got
So,
you, bro.
in March of 2009, he created a YouTube channel and uploaded his confession on there. Hildur never reciprocated his feelings, but the two remained friends. Even Hannes, Hildur's now husband, didn't seem to mind Gunnar's company, something he likely regretted deeply just a year later. It all went down on the 14th of August 2010.
Okay.
Hildur was invited to a party that Gunnar was attending as well. But things got a bit out of hand, and Hilda ended up drinking too much and passing out. Given their closeness, the task of getting her home safely was handed to Gunnar. But instead of dropping her off at Hannes' house like he should have, Gunnar took her to his own home. By the time Hilda woke up, it was already morning. She was understandably furious with Gunnar and immediately called one of her friends to drive her home. But nothing could have prepared Hilda for the horrific scene she witnessed on the other side of her front door. Her husband, Hannes, was lying on the top of the staircase near their bedroom, submerged in a pool of his own blood. She ran outside and called the authorities. Sadly, it was already too late. Hannes had received over 20 stab wounds on his body, from his arms and legs to the back of his neck, and was long dead by the time Hilda found him. Given his condition, his death was ruled a homicide, and investigators wasted no time in looking for the killer. And while they initially suspected one of his business rivals of committing this horrific crime, it didn't take long for investigators to find Gunnar's video confession to Hilda and bring him in for questioning. Gunnar denied knowing anything about it and was eventually let go due to lack of evidence. Fortunately, not all hope was lost, because not long after that, investigators found a bloody shoe print next to Hannes' bed. Looking deeper into this print revealed that it belonged to a pair of limited edition Adidas shoes. Wow. At the time, there were only 18 of these specific shoes in all of Iceland.
What?
And Gunnar just so happened to own one of these pairs. This was enough evidence to detain him once again.
Man, you know for a fact the resellers are definitely going to try and take advantage of that, unfortunately.
What the fuck is you talking about, bro?
If reselling the sneakers and stuff is like a big thing still.
This crazy. Also gave investigators the authority to do a thorough search of his belongings,
like,
resulting in them finding residue of Hannes' blood on his shoes, as well as in his car. Once presented with this evidence, Gunnar confessed to the murder. He also revealed that he'd been planning it for months, and even shoplifted the items he intended to use to avoid purchase records linking back to him.
Why is you just
and while he didn't admit to it, Hilda also suspected him of spiking her drink that night, since she usually never passed out like that. After committing the crime, he also drove to a nearby pier and dumped items used in the crime into the sea to get rid of any evidence. It was a well-thought-out plan, since he was only caught because the garbage bag he used to hide his shoe prints tore open as he walked. As for his motive, it was just as everyone had expected, with him making it clear during the investigation, stating, "I loved Hilda. She was supposed to be with me. She was not supposed to be with him." Surprisingly, he was found not guilty during his first trial on March 1, 2011 by reason of insanity stemming from his messed up childhood. However, the
hell nah.
prosecution argued that he was fully aware of his actions and escalated the case to the Supreme Court of Iceland. Gunnar was found guilty on this second trial and was sentenced to 16 years in prison.
This
was already lenient.
Bro, that's not enough. He stabbed him 20 times.
He ended up serving only half of that sentence as well. He was released under supervision in July 2009.
Nigga, my uncle fought a police officer and he got 19 years. This shit does not make sense.
And now works.
Like, this shit does not make sense. What
the local warehouse.
Bro, this shit not fair, bro.
That's
YouTubers
crazy, dog. That's crazy.
We gotta watch that shit.
I'm not even gonna hold back, bro. That's just privilege at its finest.
Nah, bro, for real though.
Now, for granted, it is Iceland. I don't know Iceland's like laws like that. Are there people, any FTC brothers and sisters out in Iceland? Are they more easier out there? Or whatever? Regardless if they're easier or whatever, like, bro, that's just unacceptable, bro. Like, this dude literally documented everything.
Fuck nah, bro. Fuck nah. But please don't be killing nobody. And make sure delete AI from your phone. But I'm gonna see y'all bitch later, man. Peace. Shout out, fight.